companies pour billions into software development, expecting seamless apps and automated workflows. But inside these massive investments, two completely distinct factions are trying, and often failing, to speak to each other. On one side, you have the business leadership. Their priorities are driven by numbers. They want to increase revenue, acquire new customers, and make sure the final product is highly usable and relevant to the market. On the other side, you have the development team. They deal in technical reality. Their world is built on CSS, HTML, system architecture, and the rigid logic required to actually write functional code. Friction occurs when business leaders demand a feature that sounds simple in a boardroom, unaware of the technical hurdles it requires. Developers, in turn, will often build exactly what they are told to build, without knowing the overarching business strategy that feature is supposed to serve. When these two groups communicate directly, the result is often a storm of misunderstood jargon. Executives talk about market penetration, while engineers counter with API limitations. Project failures in this space are rarely a result of poor effort. The breakdown happens because the team lacks a shared operational language to connect the why of the business with the how of the code. Looking at this diagram, you see the baseline of unmanaged development. Everyone talks to everyone, resulting in tangled, unfiltered communication. These crossed wires create operational problems. Scope expands unchecked, workflows go undocumented, and developers field conflicting demands from multiple stakeholders at once. This chaos carries a high price. Deadlines are missed, budgets spiral, and after months of work, the final software is delivered only for the company to realize it doesn't solve the user's actual problems. Without a mechanism to catch these tangled demands, filter out the noise, and organize them into actionable steps, the development pipeline eventually collapses under its own weight. The structural solution to this disconnect is a specific role designed to act as a translator: the business analyst. You can see their position in this diagram. The business analyst stands in the center as a hub, managing the flow of information between what the client wants and what the developer needs to build. They are not there to write the programming scripts, and they are not the ones cutting the checks for the project budget. Instead, their function is gathering and analyzing high-level business needs, and then documenting them so that both sides have a single, unified source of truth to work from. By converting vague corporate ambitions into precise technical blueprints, they ensure the engineering team can move forward with certainty. This translation process takes place within the software development lifecycle, a framework that organizes development into clear phases, moving from initial planning through to final deployment. This framework adapts depending on how a team works. A business analyst might operate in a rigid, sequential waterfall model, or they might work within an agile setup, dealing in fast, iterative, cyclical sprints. As this illustration shows, a business analyst's job description changes based on the needs of the moment. They are required to balance a varied stack of different functional roles. For instance, they may act as a data analyst. But looking at this comparison, while a pure data analyst delivers numerical reports, the business analyst uses that data specifically to identify needs and deliver tangible IT solutions. On another day, they might act as a system analyst, diving into technical architecture, mapping out API integrations, and tracing data flows to properly brief the developers. Success requires shifting between complex technical architecture, deep financial analysis, and team leadership, depending on the project's lifecycle stage. When a business analyst manages this process, the project undergoes a structural shift. Looking at the right side of this diagram, the chaotic tangle is replaced by an efficient circular circuit. The initial tension is resolved because business requirements are locked in. Stakeholders agree on a single path forward, and the developers are handed clear, achievable targets instead of guesswork. This alignment has a measurable impact on the bottom line. By avoiding rework and miscommunication, companies see higher efficiency and a sharper competitive edge in the market. By maintaining the link between the initial business case and the final technical requirements, the business analyst keeps the engineering team focused on the features that actually fulfill the company's goals.